Now, the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, is expected to present the 2022 mid-year budget review in Parliament in the next hour. Mr. Ofori-Atta was scheduled to deliver the address on Wednesday, July 13, but the date changed due to negotiations between government and International Monetary Fund, the IMF. The postponement was to allow the government to possibly make some recommendations to the budget. Meanwhile, the minister is also expected to make his first official comment on this decision after publicly stating that the country would not go to the IMF. He will equally provide information on how revenue and expenditure had performed in the first half of the year and the country's current budget deficit figures. My colleague Papani has been engaging the public on the expectations.
Somewhere 6 Ghana cedis. It's been difficult for you, right?
Yeah, now we cannot buy the fuel. I mean, as everybody was saying, we cannot buy the fuel. So we need for him to do the fuel for us.
So that's a driver, and top of his list is the cost of fuel. He's asking for the taxes specifically that adds up to the petroleum price build-up to probably be reviewed. Let me see if I can get some more individuals to speak to here, but it's a number of people that we are here to speak to. Drivers, transport owners, even for commuters and those that are hawking just here, although illegal, probably the living conditions is what has brought them to this situation. Madam, good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Finance Minister and then Obeko Parliament. Then our person Okanwasem and Opawe.
And Kwame
Then I want Enyama.
Enyama Bibia Boyading. Say cry, intimate she, into Kanwasem. Why, and Konomen, they say, Koyo. Say, what one they cry and talk. Ediani intimate and Moses Omonte 3 city. I dream 4 city. I mean, me to a method city answer me 4 city no cramp one party. They say, almost say on Betia 5 city. And there's a Bibia Boyading. It's here, Pajo, on Cassam fat and Konomen. I say, yes, you are doing.
Bibi Potter, the Akumaso Unyanka, or best Sano. Because he had TBB say a more wide day, written in
day, drink a 20 Sui. They say in Sui such as bag 5 CD or special 5 CD. Now some tomo be 40 pesos. Already my term. To me, 30 pesos. They say, I dare a ton of 2 CD. I dare not do 4 CD. And you now call on can want some. Then just at the end, a better yes, you mo. Ya masha you are chrononia, but some pennies are the end,
pennies. So she's a hawker here at 37. Generally she's looking at some positive conversations from the floor of Parliament to the effect of reducing the hardship that she says she's facing here. Let's speak to some more people. Bossman, good morning. Good morning. I just wondered, the Finance Minister is going to be in Parliament this morning. Anything on your mind that you are hoping that he will address?
To be honest, I think they need to do something about the fuel.
The fuel?
Yeah.
What exactly do you want them to do about the fuel? Increase it?
No, reduce the price of the fuel.
Why reduce it?
Because it's too much. It's too expensive.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. So, yet another driver here who hopes that fuel prices.
Now, some nurse assistant clinicals and preventive are picketing at the Parliament House ahead of the mid-year budget review. After 3 years of sitting at home unemployed, the nurses say they have now become burdensome to their families and they are fed up. They decided to picket at Parliament as a last resort to let government hear their plea after nearly 3 years of silence.
So long. The assurance is too much. We can't hold on again.
We are tired. We are tired. We are speechless now. We can't talk again.
There is nothing that we have not
done. We are pushed against the wall.
The porter with the degrees and the diplomas.
So these are trained nurses here who have decided to picket the premises of Parliament. They tell me frustration is what has brought them here this particular day. They tell me there's a reason behind why they have chose this particular day. They are part of the 2019 batch of trained nurses, but they tell me that since they graduated, nothing have been done for them, even though they know that they have gotten financial clearance to do that. Let me start with some of them. How exactly have they been coping? Where exactly, which institution were you trained?
Please, I completed DNNTC Daba National Midwifery Training College.
In 2019?
Yes, please, 2019 batch.
And I mean, so why are you here today?
Please, on several occasions have we gone to the mall and then also petitioned the Ministry of Finance as well, that we don't understand why we have accessed the portal together with the diplomas and then the degrees, and we are still in the house. The degrees are at post, the diplomas too are also at post, but as for the NAS and then the NAPs, we are still in the house. We don't understand what have we done to deserve this. So why are they underrating us? We can't tolerate this again. We can't tolerate this again.
So you think it's intentional?
Yes, it is. We are fed up. We are fed up.
But how have you been coping?
My brother, I don't know what to say again.
Question for the gods.
If I should write an application for employment from the private sector, they will tell you you've accessed portal, and so they can't employ you. Why? So does it mean that the monies we've paid are in wasting or what? It has wasted or what? We don't understand. So as today they are coming to the Parliament House for the Ministry of Finance to come and give us the budget. We are telling him that we are still in the house. We can't cope with it anymore because our services and then the qualities, the skills, the arts, they are all wearing off. We are sick and tired of them.
We completed school 2019 and up to now we are still at home. We've gone through all the necessary means to get employed, but up to now we are not getting employment. We did demonstrations upon demonstration, but yet still we are not getting anything out of it. That is why we have decided to come here today.
But why have you decided on this particular day? Is it because the finance minister is coming to Parliament?
Yes, please. And then we want the people of Ghanaians to know that we are still at home, because most of the politicians, they will go to the media houses and then they will now fabricate lies that the 2019 badges of nurses are posted, which is a lie, a big lie. That is why we have decided to come here, so that those big men, those politicians who goes to the media to tell Ghanaians that we have been posted, right now we are now burdens to our families. Some of them are thinking that we failed our exams, which is not so. We've qualified, and the most annoying aspect of it is that whilst we are at home, we still do our license. We have to renew our pins every blessed year. Where are we going to get money out of it? Where are we going to get money out of it?
I see, but how are you coping? I mean, tell me about the challenges of being a burden on your parents. So since 2019, what really have you been up to?
My brother, this is a question for the gods to answer. But it's just by grace that we are still among the living. Because right now, if I must tell you, quick loan, every blessed day they have to give me message because of the way we've been borrowing money. Right now that I'm here, I am here on loan because I have to borrow before I come here. And that is what I have to do that. If I don't do it, my employment will not come.
I see. Moses, I'll come back to you. Let me speak to some of the colleagues here who are with the 2019 batch of nurses. They tell me since 2019, nearly no engagement with them, and they are fed up being at home and being neglected. They feel this is an intentional plot to sideline them because their training probably may have been different. So for you, what's your story? What's your name?
I'm Yvette, Mami Adjoa Etiakon.
Yvette, so why are you picketing now after 3 years?
Yes, after 3 years I've been in the house whilst I'm not working, and I've been a burden to my parents since I have siblings too that they are taking care of. It's not easy being in the house, so we are pleading with the Ministry of Health, with the Finance Minister, to help us so that we start working. Since we access the portal with degree and the diploma, they have started work and we are still in the house. This is unfair. So please, we are pleading with all the politicians, all those that they are at head, to help us so that we get to our post and start working. We did every year, we have to renew our PIN, and it's 55 Ghana cedis. And I mean, where should we get the money from to renew our PIN since we are not working? So please, we are pleading with the government to help us. Some of us, our renters are due, and where is the money for us to renew our rent? We are pleading them that they should help us so that we go to work, we start working, so that we can also help our family members. We can also help our siblings that they are in school, so that they can also become a better future in Ghana too. Thank you very much.
I see. So Yvette, the finance minister is coming today. Earlier you were telling me that you have information that you people have been given the financial clearance. So what have you heard from the Ministry of Health, for instance?
Oh, the Ministry of Health, the reassurance that they're giving it to us is too much. Now we can't contain it again. We can't do anything again. So we are pleading now that the Minister of Finance is coming to the Parliament to release or to read their budget. We are pleading on him to add us to their budget, that we are pleading that by the end of August we should start work.
So those are some views from around the presence of Parliament. But let me take you to the House now, where my colleague Kwame is standing by with latest on the Finance Minister's preparations to come and deliver the mid-year budget review. Kweku, what is the update now?
So members of Parliament came into the chamber around 10:30. That is when the information was relayed that the minister will be presenting a mid-year at 1 o'clock. And so the House considered the updates from last week in terms of its correction of votes and proceedings, and then took a recess. So the House is currently on break until the Finance Minister is expected to arrive in the House about 1 o'clock p.m. to deliver the mid-year budget review. So I've just seen that some members are coming in now. I don't know what the indication is, whether or not the MPs are coming in to consider some other business, as the indication we got early on. And so the indication I'm getting from some sources is that the Finance Minister will arrive within Parliament about 12:45 to meet leaders. Normally they will do a pre-sitting before the House starts sitting at 1 to consider the statement that he will be presenting. What we also get now is a firm indication that Finance Minister Akufo-Addo will ask for more money to implement the 2022 budget. It was only last 2 weeks that Parliament approved a $750 million loan agreement for him to construct some roads that were earmarked in the 2022 budget. And so when the Finance Minister come in, they're expected to ask for further estimates to implement this budget.
All right, now let's still stay in Parliament, because Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu says it is offensive that a bust on view to honor the memory of the late President John Atta Mills did not even have his name. Now, according to the minority, it is offensive to have the names of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Kojo on the bust without that of the former president. They say had it not been for the nature of the former president, they would have moved in there to destroy the bust.
Our disappointment is those of you who have had the opportunity to visit ASOMDWEE Park. The bust of him. If you have doubt, go and visit President Nkrumah's museum. You see his bust. It says Kwame Nkrumah, 1909, as he lived till when he passed on. If you go to that of John Evans Atta Mills, our respected president, beneath the bust is not his name. It is that unveiled by Nana Addo Dankwa. That is not Mills's name, Professor Mills' name. That is not his name. And we find that incredibly unacceptable and offensive. And then you see reference to the President of the Republic unveiling it, and sponsored or supported by those of you who are on social media. Read the exact text for me. I need it. And assisted by Kwame. You know, everywhere in the world, those of you who have visited the Lincoln Memorial in the United States, is for his eternal memory that you put his name there so that visitors will know that this is John Evans Atta Mills, the third president of the Fourth Republic, who passed on in public service, serving Ghana as his president, not who has uttered where his final sleeping place is or who sponsored is.
Harry Ndrisu tasked government to immediately correct the inscription on the bus by removing the names of President Akufo-Addo and that of Kojo. The Tamale South legislator warned that had it not been the peaceful nature of the man, they would have gone there and removed the inscription themselves.
President and his associates must take immediate steps to go and correct that wrong and that anomaly. We find it incredibly unacceptable and incredibly offensive. But for the peaceful nature of the late John Mills, I would have just walked away from here, there, and go and change it myself. But that would not be in honor of the late John Evans Atta Mills. He preached peace, and I learned peace from him. Other than that, ordinarily, we'll just walk from here. We'll walk and take it off, and then put what is appropriate. Persons who visit the ASOMDWEE Park must know that is a final resting place of the late John Evans Atta Mills, president of the country, who passed on in office, and to his eternal memory, this bust is put in place. How then can any of you explain that just beneath the bust, you see who unveiled it and who sponsored or who supported it? That is not his name. And for the unsuspecting people, somebody may come and then the picture will be referred to as unveiled by. In any case, I never even saw Professor Mills in that kind of brown attire. I never saw him in that kind of brown attire.
Now, President Akufo-Addo says his government was motivated to give the late President Atta Mills a befitting resting place when his attention was drawn to the deplorable state of the ASOMDWEE Park. The refurbished place was opened yesterday to mark the 10th anniversary of the passing of the late president. Addressing a short remembrance ceremony, President Akufo-Addo said government did not set out to exploit divisions within the opposition NDC with the project.
After becoming president, I became aware of the sad state of ASOMDWEE Park. And in 2020, I received a request from the late president's energetic communications director, Akufo-Addo, who runs the institute named after the president, for the assistance of government to rehabilitate the facility. I agreed, and subsequently, I instructed the Coastal Development Authority to undertake a thorough rehabilitation of the park with the close cooperation of the Institute. It was not right that the park had been allowed to deteriorate considerably over the years since his burial in 2012. And I'm happy that it was under the presidency of Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, allegedly, quote, his fiercest critic, that ASOMDWEE Park has been elevated to a status befitting the final resting place of a president of the Republic of Ghana. I did so with that objective solely in mind, and not to exploit or take advantage of any so-called divisions in the political party to which he belonged. Those alleged divisions are not of my making and do not in any way inure to my benefit. There have also been unfortunate accusations leveled by some against government about the supposed desecration of the tomb of the late president in the process of rehabilitating the park. Nothing could be further from the truth. And it is good to note that these false, malicious statements have been firmly dispelled and debunked.
As part of activities marking 10 years of his demise, JoyNews put together a special documentary dubbed Ghana's Great in memory of the late president. Among the characters in the piece is his son, who shared fondest memories of him, including how he came to learn about his father's death. Here's an excerpt.
I remember in 2008, I was in school and he invited me to come to Ghana. I mean, he'd been trying to get me to come to Ghana for a very long time, I should say. I mean, I think when I left to go to the UK, I wasn't really interested in coming back to Ghana. So my dad was always like, if you come to Ghana, I was like, nope, I'm not coming to Ghana. I like it here. I'm going to stay in the UK. So 2008, he invited me to come to Ghana, and I was rebelling as always. And then he says, look, just come for a weekend. I need you in Ghana for a weekend. So I said, fine, one weekend, I'm coming. I'm coming on a Friday with Virgin. I'm leaving on a Monday with British Airways, and I'm out. So I came, and then he made me follow him on his campaign trail. So, and that's when things started making, like I was starting to understand. I was like, wow, like what is this, you know? The whole crowd and the convoy, and I think we went to Ejumako in the central region, and you know, driving through we even drove through like remote areas to go and meet people, and the way people were, you know, adoring him and throwing themselves at him and asking him that you should come and save us, and you know, and it started to dawn on me. It was like a mirage. I was like, wow, like, is this the same person I've been talking on phone, telling him my peace of mind? You know, and this is how they value him here. So when after that campaign trail, I went back to the UK. I went to school, and like the whole time I was back in the UK, I was like, wow. And then even when I met, you know, people who knew who my father was, and they were discussing, hey, your father, do you think you win the elections and stuff? I was like, wow, like people even know him here, you know, they understand who he is, and you know. So then I had to start adjusting to understand more about him and the capacity in which he's in.
In their usual father-to-son engagements, he told some of the demands of his status as a president's son. From there, it was a seamless rapport between the UK-based structural engineer and Ghana's 10th president, Professor Mills.
And I remember this so clearly. I came to Ghana, I was picked up from the airport, and then they took me straight to the castle. And then the next morning, he called me to come to his office, because I came in very late on British Airways. So I came in, I went to my room to sleep at the castle. And then the next morning, I didn't wake up early because I was very tired. So he told them that they should make sure that I was okay. But when I'm done with everything, I should come to his office. So I went to his office, and he was there with a man, I think his name is Niamodako. And then he sat me down in front of him, and then he literally just said to me, Kofi, welcome to Ghana, and I'm glad that you made a decision to come. But now I'm here as president of Ghana, and you are here as the son of the president of Ghana. You cannot go out there and you know, you had to literally tell me that when you're going out, you must go with security, you must not say a lot to people, don't trust anybody, you have to eat in a certain type of way, you have to address people in a certain type of way, you have to carry yourself in a certain type of way. You know, whatever happens to me has a direct effect on you.
The full documentary will be played here on JoyNews channel later on, so stay tuned for that. But ranking member on Parliament's Road and Transport Committee, Kwame Agbodza, is warning government not to go ahead and sign a contract with THELO DB to construct railways in the country. According to Kwame Agbodza, the contract worth 3.2 billion cedis is expected to be signed today, and is warning it will not benefit the country. According to that Daklu MP, the company involved is only using Ghana to raise money on the stock market.
Somewhere last week, we were picking up information from the media, both national and international, that a company called THELO DB and Transtech were about to sign an agreement for $3.2 billion to build railway in this country. My checks suggest that the information put out there on Reuters by THELO DB and Transtech is very misleading and was only meant to serve their personal interest. Not too long ago, you noticed that Motor Angels did the same thing by saying they've signed a $570 million agreement on the Tema motorway. And they quickly went trying to raise money from the stock exchange from their shareholders. We believe that sponsored article on, Reuters is deliberate to help these companies improve their financing on whatever stock exchange they are. But let's ask this question. What is the nature of the so-called railway management agreement that the Ministry of Railway is about to sign? Our railway sector is in crisis. We are just now doing the investment to see whatever we can do. The last time this government signed this kind of management agreement, if you remember, Aqua Victims, to improve water delivery in this country, and it ended in a fiasco. We have to kick them out. Interestingly, another South African company. Not too long ago, you noticed, PDS, signing the same management agreement with ECG. In fact, another big fiasco. As we speak, Ghana's money is probably locked up in that. So what is the point of this agreement, a railway management agreement? I am cautioning government. You are not signing any agreement that brings $3.2 billion. Indeed, THELO, DB, and Transtech do not have the capability of raising $3.2 billion for our railway sector.
Kwame Agbodza is warning government to pull the brakes on the deal. He claims the government is seeking to bypass Parliament to sign this agreement, which he says is not fit for purpose.
I was surprised that somebody from AFDB was also saying that Afri-Exim Bank, not AFD, Afri-Exim Bank, were commenting on this. And I think that we should all be cautious that we don't get into a point of signing all these Mickey Mouse agreements with these companies, thinking that somebody is out there with $3.2 billion to support our railway sector. What we are doing, we need more money to be able to develop the lines and run them. But I don't think this agreement is clear enough. And if I read the Attorney General's comments, it's very misleading. Is it the case that Attorney General believes that the assets of Ghana Railway Company currently are worth $3.2 billion, upon which they are claiming that government is not spending any that we can hand over? Basically, it's just like selling our investment even before we complete them to THELO DB. And I feel that we should make this point very clearly. Government must be cautioned that, as they have done with Aqua Victims and became a fiasco, PDS, and it was a scandal, as the finance minister himself called it. This is another scandal building, and everybody must speak against this. In fact, they are actually trying to dodge Parliament by pretending that the railway company is capable of doing this agreement on their balance sheet.
Local authorities at the Ghanaian border village of Bansi in the Upper East region are calling for immediate assistance from the government following the arrival of dozens of Burkinabe nationals who are said to be fleeing Islamist extremist violence in their country. The victims from the several communities in the southeast of the country arrived in Ghana over the weekend after months of sustained attacks by armed jihadist groups linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State. The Ghana Refugee Board confirmed nearly 1,000 new arrivals over the past week in the Binduri and Boko district in Ghana's far north. The Bansi community is currently hosting 20 of these refugees who fled their community in Banjere in the Bolgu department, where armed individuals attacked earlier this month and killed 2 members of the local self-defense militia. The chief imam, Mahama Isaka, who is hosting the victims in his mosque, expressed fears over his security and called for the establishment of a mobile security checkpoint. He also called for food supplies and other relief items to help accommodate the refugees. Correspondent Elias Utanko has been following and has more in this report.
Alimatu Mumin, 42, has been married for over 15 years now to a peasant farmer with whom she has 7 children in the city of Kaya, located 100 kilometers northeast of the capital, Ouagadougou. In this 5th largest city of Burkina Faso, Alimatu had always lived peacefully together with her family until in the early part of this year, when they were forced to flee empty-handed after the city came under attack from armed Islamist jihad militants.
In the Burkina Faso, some gunmen attacked them there, like they came to the community. First also they don't want formal education there, so they were targeting people who were of that category of people there. And then they also started preaching to them that the way they pray is not the right way of praying. And then later on, they came looking for a community watchdog there. They called them Kolwe. Yes. So they were looking for people in that group. But when they come to the community and they don't see sick people, even if they see a little child, they kill the person.
After traveling for several weeks by foot, they finally arrived at Benriali in the Bolgo department southeast of the country bordering northeastern Ghana. However, their stay in this community was short-lived, as the community too came under armed extremist attack on the 9th of July 10th, almost 2 weeks ago. This forced Alimatu and her family to eventually flee to Ghana.
Then they ran away from the Kaya to Beriali, where they followed up again and attacked the community. Then from there, they managed to cross to this area, and they also accepted them and accommodating them here.
Alimatu is part of a group of 20 Burkinabe nationals from Benriali, currently seeking refuge at Bansi in the Binduri district of the Upper East region in Ghana's far north, after Al-Qaeda's local fighters stormed the village and killed 2 members of a self-defense militia group known locally as Kulwelgo. Among the group, the women are being sheltered in the mosques while the men and boys sleep under this tree. Although Ghanaian authorities in the region have paid a visit and conducted an assessment since their arrival, they are yet to provide any form of assistance, contrary to the established refugee conventions to which Ghana is a party. So where I'm standing currently is a Bansi community in the Ghanaian territory of the Upper East region, and across this particular river is Burkina Faso, where the incident happened some 2 weeks ago. According to the victims themselves, they had to wade through this water, this high current water, before they are able to come to this particular community in Ghana, where they are currently being housed or camped at the residence of the local imam. Bansi community is where the Nakambe and Nohal rivers meet to form the confluence of the White Volta River in Ghana. It is the home of the Binduri Member of Parliament, Mr. Abdallah Banga, who is also the Deputy Works and Housing Minister. Yet, the border community has remained severely underdeveloped and economically neglected, with little to no social amenities for a normal living. The local imam of the community has raised concern over his security, fearing he could be a target of the armed men for allowing the fleeing Burkinabes into his home, and thus call for the establishment of a mobile security post to protect him as well as the refugees. He has also appealed to the state and benevolent entities to come to the aid of the victims with food supplies and other relief items.
He's making a personal appeal to government to come to their aid, because the people have come to stay with him here, but they lack a number of things. For example, mats for them to lie on is a problem, and he'll be grateful if government could come and set up some temporary accommodation for them.
You're so watching Joy News today. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll bring you latest from the world of business. Stay with us.
Hello, good afternoon. Let's do business now with me, Beverly Broom. Now, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana has left the policy rate unchanged at 19%. This means cost of borrowing will remain same at least for the next 2.5 months. Now, speaking at a news conference today, the governor of the central bank, Dr. Ernest Addison, said this is because the rising inflation rate has started responding to the last policy rate increase, hence the need to monitor the situation further before any policy action. Now, away from that, after a year of introducing smallholder farmers to the Forest Watcher mobile app, the Rainforest Alliance says the technology has helped in growing and monitoring over 9,000 trees in the Sui River landscape. Selected smallholder farmers located in the western north region of Ghana were trained on how to use the mobile application to plant more trees in a bid to check deforestation. Now, at the close-out ceremony, the Alliance handed over the mandate to farmers to ensure continuity on conserving biodiversity, building climate resilience, and reducing emission from land use changes in the Sui landscape. Here's more in the following report.
Ghana's forest cover keeps depleting over time, with the country recording a 60% reduction in its primary forest in 2018 alone, mainly stemming from illegal mining and hunting operations. To check the growing menace, the Rainforest Alliance introduced a data monitoring technique to over 100 farmers within the Sefirioso district. The Forest Watcher mobile app employs an online monitoring system and alerts systems of the Global Forest Watch to view areas of interest in the field. Senior Associate of the Monitoring and Evaluation Unit of Rainforest Alliance, Alvin Eduasari, says the mobile app replaces the outmoded paper-based data collection system.
We also realized that within the landscape, they are doing a lot of things on tree registration, right? It was important and imperative that the processes that they were using was also streamlined. They were using a lot of paper-based things, which really wasn't helping. It was introducing a lot of errors in the data collection processes. So we felt that it was important that we bring in a digitalized system so that the farmers themselves can go out there, collect the data in a very simplified and seamless way, so that when data is collected, it can be shot straight up into the cloud server, and then it can be displayed on dashboards on the internet. Everybody can have access to it.
Under the hybrid community-based monitoring system, data on reforestation was collected by the landscape management boards in the selected communities over a 6-month period. The piloted project, expected to be escalated to other forest regions across the country, would help address the devastating impact of climate change.
So in terms of climate change, once you plant a tree and the tree grows, that's when you realize the potential of that tree. If you plant and for a year or two the tree dies, it's a problem. How do you replace that tree, right? So we need to make sure that the tree that you plant actually survives. Somebody's taking care of that tree. And to us, that was the most important thing for us in terms of this project. So making sure that we have that system in place, which ensures that the farmers themselves can go out there, use the application, go out there, go and count their own trees, right?
Some participating cocoa farmers shared the benefits of the project.
Say, dum ye krama ye tie cocoa wi a ye nyamfa so de omama ye yen eye wo yen mpreko esan yen enwa enti ate ye cocoa awi le nya ska be free sa de no ma ne boy abrabo bebre.
That's it for business. We have more business coming up on Marketplace at 1 p.m. and also on myjoyonline.com/business. Up next is sports.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News. Today, now musician King Promise has opened up on how long it took him to finish his 5-star album. According to the Selfish hitmaker, it took him 2 years to complete the project as the lockdown provided him with ample time and passion to work. He spoke on Daybreak Hits this morning.
Apart from the fact that, 5-star stands for like good quality, high level, it's also like a movement. I have like the 5-star army all over the world. The whole idea behind this whole 5-star thing is, I feel like we've reached a point where the music is on that level where it's like very good quality, because I'm not like following no trends. I'm not doing none of that forced stuff. It's very organic, and we took our time to make it. And with all the experiences and stuff that I've learned over the years, this passes for that. It took us 2 years to make, So
2 years to put together.
Yeah, I started making it when we were in COVID. Like, I was on tour, I had to come back because of COVID. And when I got back, that's when I learned how to record myself. So I was home every time. I just had to go downstairs, press play, record. I was just making music from a very special place because I had a lot of time.
So just you in the studio?
Yeah, most of the time. You know, I recorded like 70% of the album by myself. You know what I mean? And right when we came out of lockdown is when we, you know, wrapped it up. So then I traveled, I went to London. That's when I made like Chop Life and, you know, Bad and Rude and all them stuff. So you can imagine when you have a lot of time to think, you know, if I was on the road, the kind of stuff I wrote, for example, like How Dare You, I probably wouldn't think about it, but I had like an epiphany and I was looking at life from a different perspective, like, hey, wow, like all of a sudden we did inside, we're literally just outside. You know, you can literally go and see your mom or your girl, or you know what I mean? You can't hang with the man them. So all those stuff just made me realize very, very important things that we take lightly. And I just wrote music about all of that. It's the realest stuff I ever wrote on this album, man.
And that's how we wrap up today's edition of Joy News Today. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo. Brace Marketplace is up next. Good afternoon.